Hey, Nicole. Hey, Angelia, how you been?
Girl, I've been good. What about you?
Girl, everything's been going good. What's new with you?
Honey, out here trying to be my own boss and I'm making these money moves.
You know, I've been trying to stay fit and work on my health and my wellness.
All right now. What about the issues us women are facing today and the struggle with these relationships? Oh my gosh.
Girl, that's just too heavy. Let's go hit up the hot spots and happenings.
Girl,
Let's talk.
Our guest today is Coach Jackson. Come on out, Coach Jackson.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you.
Yes, let's talk.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Coach Jackson, for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks. So today we're going to talk about women, their sons, and sports. So tell us, who is Coach Jackson and what does he do?
Coach Jackson is a man of many things. I'm a school teacher. I'm employed at DeSoto High School. I teach employee skills, but right now my biggest thing I'm doing right now is C.C.E. That's my company, and we deal with youth sports, and primarily football. And we deal with kids from the ages of 7 through 16 or 17 years of age. We work with them. We provide exposure. Okay. We try to instill the right things for them, and we just really want to see kids maximize their dreams and fulfilling their dreams.
What is C.C.E.?
It's an acronym for Catch, Cover, Elite.
Okay.
Meaning we want to catch and cover the elite players. And so it started off just doing it in Texas, but now we've branched out to the neighboring states around Texas, and we're even in Ohio. So we're growing, and it's been good. It's been good. We started in 2012, and now we actually have kids that were 8th graders that are now in high school, college, playing college football right now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me ask, how long have you been coaching?
Coaching since I retired. I retired when I was 26 years of age due to an injury.
Okay.
And then I started coaching and working with kids, and not working with kids, but working with some of my peers.
Okay.
Training them in the off season. So I would say about 14, 15 years.
Okay, so you just said when you retired, so you were in the NFL?
It was a brief stint.
Okay.
It was a brief stint.
But you made
Brief
it.
stint.
You
Yeah,
made it.
I made it. And I try to focus more. My story to kids is more of the harsh realities of it could be over at a minute.
Not making
what
it
are you
all
going
the
to
way.
do afterwards? You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
but I was able to I was with Buffalo Bills for a year and a half, and was released due to it said salary cuts or whatever. It wasn't salary cuts; it was just cuts.
Yeah.
So and then my love and my body broke down after that due to injury.
Okay. Well, I have a question. I have 2 boys. I have a 16-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. And my 16-year-old has actually played Little League sports since he was 4. He was in different football teams all over the DFW. And since he's been in high school, before high school, he started AAU basketball and as well football. So my youngest plays Little League football as well. So what advice would you give single mothers as they are looking for teams, because they really don't know? Their kids want to play football. Their boys want to play football. They don't have any help, but they want to fulfill their kids' dreams. What would you tell them to look out for? What advice would you give them?
I think early on, make it convenient for you. You don't know if a kid's going to be good or not. You just know he has a love for it. So you want kids to fall in love with the game.
Okay.
And throughout that process of falling in love with the game, you want them to understand they have to respect the game. What they put into the game, they'll get out of the game as far as work ethic and the merits they want to receive from it. So usually what's convenient, which is close, with your schedule, you're working, you're a single mom, you have a job, you're working, so it's a lot of rigor on you already.
Absolutely.
So you don't want to be trying to, when they're 7 years old and all they really want is a snack after the game, to be driving across town to the best team. After you realize, hey, my son is pretty talented, then you want to start to be able to evaluate the coaching staff and see if they're giving your kid the best opportunity to keep on developing, because it's about development and it's about them pushing him and being in the right situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if he's a running back, you don't want to necessarily stay in that.
So let's talk about football coaching language. Okay, so I hear a lot of people struggle. I have struggled with that, but I step back because you have to let the coaches work and do their job, and I totally respect that. But I've heard several parents, mostly the moms, that are a little sensitive about vocabulary and toneness of voices with the boys. So how can you help these ladies, especially single parents, single moms, understand how this whole thing works?
Every dynamic is different. if you grow up with your dad around, some dads are going to be harsh on you, going to be hard on you. Some kids don't grow up with dads around, and believe it or not, I go to games every week. I hear some moms say things crazier than any coach can ever say. And so I think it's just every dynamic's a different dynamic. What you want to be able to do with kids is you want to be able to use vocabulary that can be, that doesn't have to be edited if somebody, one of your peers is listening to it. So if you were on TV, would you want to have the TV cameras hear you
say that,
saying cuss words and things like that?
Right.
Now, as you get older, and they get to be 15, 14, 16, 17 years of age,
speak their language.
some of your language might tend to vary. But some coaches never ever get out of their character. Other coaches might say something that to that set of kids might spark something in them.
Okay.
So it's just, to me, it's really, when you're a young kid, I don't want to be the one who's giving you new vocabulary words. Let it be from your mom and your dad, not from me as a coach.
Because I've experienced that too. Early on, my son was playing, and the coach was just too tough. And I was like, this is kids trying to find their way. But what's a really good age to start focusing on the child's commitment to sports?
I think, as a coach, I think you should be hard on the kid from the get-go. You got
from Pee-wee, from P-League?
Practice is about being hard, because games are actually supposed to be the learning lesson of it. Now you're, hey, good job, don't worry about it, we're going to pick you up. But if I coach you well in practice, I'm not coaching in the game.
Okay.
I'm actually allowing. So what you want to be is see people coach in practice. So when you make mistakes in practice, I can never get mad at you for doing something wrong if you never did it right in practice.
That's true.
But if you did it right in practice, then I can hold you accountable to it. And so that's what it's really about. It's about teaching them and making sure that they understand what's right and what's wrong. There's a work ethic that never will change. Kids should never walk onto the field. They should never walk off the field. It should be an energy that goes on the field, and it should be an energy coming off the field, whether you're an offensive player or a defensive player. Those things, if you teach it at an early age, that's the right way. If they learn that then, they never ever have that bad habit that somebody else has to break at a later date.
Absolutely.
As coaches, we owe it to the next coach who gets them to have them more prepared for the next level. That's in essence the best coach.
So like, I remember when my son was playing, he was out there looking for the butterflies. I was like, can you find the ball? He's out there chasing the butterflies. I'm like, focus, so I understand what you're saying.
It happens.
Because now I'm trying to not expect him to fuss at him. But he's got to get his attention to be the best he can be.
And in sports, you're going to have it to where you want to learn other things besides winning and losing. And some kids are going to play the game, and it's going to be the relationships that they get during the game that are going to be most important. They're not going to be high school players. They might be the trainer. They might be whatever. But you want to still be able to have those good interactions in there. So there are going to be some butterfly chasers and some kids that are digging holes in the ground and finding insects. Maybe those are our new scientists coming up. We don't know.
We don't know.
So just the whole point of it is you'll go to different levels in football, and you'll start to have different kind of coaching with select coaching.
That's good.
Do you ever find in coaching that a lot of the parents are trying to live out their dream through their kids and maybe pushing their kids that don't necessarily want to play the sport? What advice would you give the child as well as the parent? Because I have seen that on countless occasions. Hey, I don't really want to play this. You can see the passion. My oldest son, he is so passionate. Since he was 3 years old, I put him right in Little League because he would literally sit in front of the TV and watch NFL. Like it was a cartoon. And so he has done this for so many years. My youngest, his first year was last year of Little League, and that was at 9. So he didn't have that same energy, but he's more of a studier.
More gifted. Probably more gifted. Comes easier to him.
Yes, he studies it.
That's the gift and the curse.
And he's ready. My other, he's just this extrovert, and he just wants to be all out, but he has heart, so if they lose, he gets his emotion. But at the same time, he went through his phases where he saw his friends getting hurt, then he got a little scared. And I would see when he would have a play, he would just kind of dodge to the ground so he could avoid getting hit. But what is some advice you can give, parents, because I see that a lot. Hey, this is not, I know you want your kids to do this, but is this your dream or is it their dream?
Well, for mothers, there probably are some mothers out there that wish they could have been football players. But we don't have many women that have made it to the NFL. But you usually hear the word vicariously through your kid with the father.
Okay.
The father is trying to make amends for things, maybe decisions he didn't make or did make, and trying to be able to instill that in their kid. Ultimately, if you got a parent that's trying to work with a kid, it's not the worst thing in the world. Because there are a lot of kids out there that don't have the parents and don't have parents. They'll just drop their kid off. So we're already working from a good place.
Absolutely.
It's levels to everything. Football will end for everyone at some point in time. And once you understand that, you're going to be okay. Next thing is that if your son has talent, like you said, it sounds like your youngest son has a little bit more of the natural talent.
Yeah.
He's the kid that can pick up and learn how to learn a dance real quick.
Yes.
Doesn't put a lot of work ethic into it. The older kid has the great work ethic, but necessarily has to work harder to be able to achieve the same goal.
Yes.
You
And
run
he wants
into
to be
that.
accepted more. My youngest don't really care.
Yeah.
He gonna
That's
do
out here.
him. He does
He's
him.
gonna
My
play.
other, he struggles a little bit with identity. I realize that and want people to kind of like him a little bit more. So yeah, their personalities are different. You're right.
And you'll run into those issues with it. To me, what you really have to be able to focus on is just hard work will always pay off. And the kid who is getting by with results that are positive, but he's putting minimal effort into it, at some point in time, he's going to run into each level. They're going to get better and better and better, and you're going to run into people just like you, but work hard.
Okay.
And so normally what separates good from great is the people who have the mentality of it's me against the world.
Okay.
And I call that a Mamba mentality. We're really pushing, this year we pushed 4 elements of football. As you can see it on my thing in there. And we talk about, in order to be great, is 4 elements to it. And the first one is you have to have honor. And that means you have a purpose. If you don't have a purpose for what you're doing, whether it's in anything in life,
Absolutely.
you're going to quit easily. The second thing is witness. Witness is more of a cocky bravado. It's more of a confidence. Confidence comes from putting in work.
Right.
You put in work. Somebody say, "What you gonna do? Come and watch. You'll
Yeah,
see."
that's right.
It's more. You'll see me show up.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Mamba. It's a mentality of it's either you or her. One of y'all is not gonna get a scholarship. You're gonna tell her, better go to a JC and try to check in. 'Cause I'm getting that scholarship.
I'm getting this. It's mine.
It's a eat or be eaten mentality. And then the last one is greatness. Greatness is hard to explain, but it's easy to see. It's something that you see in somebody. It puts fear in your heart even when you're not there. It's the
Absolutely.
Tom Brady, when he's down in the game, you fear him more. It's the Aaron Rodgers, he's down in the game, you fear him more. We call those 4 elements of football. You have to have all 4. And sometimes with kids, they have 2 or 3. But I've never really seen greatness and they not embody all 4 of them.
Wow.
So
That's good.
it's
And
pretty
that's
much
good, yeah, definitely. So you talked about all these stuff and the leaders and people trying to live vicariously through them, the parents. So do you think the mothers or the fathers try to pimp their kids to get their life savings or retirement plan?
I mean, it's been situations of things like that. And, we live in a world where money means something, right, to everybody. And so, the Jackson 5 wouldn't be the Jackson 5 if it wouldn't have been for Joe Jackson pushing them.
Pimping
He
them.
saw talent.
He
Did you
saw
see
it.
this pimping or pushing?
No, I said pushing them.
Yeah.
Pushing.
Because as a parent, if you told your kid he didn't have to go to school every day, he wouldn't go to
He's
school.
not going.
He could just stay home and play his video game, he play his video
Yes.
game.
Right.
So as parents, we have to make hard decisions for kids to make them do things
Absolutely.
that sometimes they don't want to necessarily
That's right.
do.
That's right.
And when you see a kid has talent, up to a certain age, it's up to us to say, hey, this can get you into school free.
Gonna
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
This can get you into school free. And let's say he doesn't want to play football, but he's doing really well in academics. Okay.
Okay.
But you're going to college.
Right.
I prefer you go to college on a
Right.
scholarship.
Right.
And
So
so
you know
if
it.
this is going to be your vehicle, we're going to ride that vehicle
That's right.
until that vehicle stops running. And that's just a mentality that I have, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think what you run into is when you start to have personal gain as a parent, where parents start to say, hey, I read this the other day, and they said a coach offered to pay her tags on her car.
Tag, something simple.
To get her tags and stuff done on her car. I mean, I've heard of allowances of $200 a month of allowance. Hey, it's going to cover your gas when you're driving way out here. Well, your kid's going to pay free. So if a kid is playing free at 8 or 9 years of age,
Yeah.
by the time he's 14 or 15, or let's say when he gets to 16 or 17, he's getting recruited, that's going to be the same kid that's going to mess around and get in trouble with the NCAA
Yes.
for taking money
The bribes.
from a booster or taking money from an
Yes.
agent or taking money some kind of way because he's always been a contract for hire. It's been instilled in him by his parents.
He's entitled now.
Yeah.
He feels entitled now.
And he's great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a time when you're going to get paid for your
Yeah,
successes,
yeah.
but don't jeopardize your family name. Don't jeopardize
Everything.
your
Your career.
eligibility
Yes.
behind that. And I think that starts with how parents do things. You know,
Let me ask you though, what about when parents feel like their child has more potential and should be further than what the coach really sees in them? And so
Yes,
they get
that's
upset. How do
good.
y'all handle that?
Yes,
Well,
that's very good.
I say this all the time. I've never heard a mom say their daughter's ugly. Never heard a dad say their daughter's ugly. So we all have goggles on, right? We all have goggles on. And our goggles never want to hear or never
That's
want to
true.
see what is the truth or somebody else's
about
truth.
your child.
I rank kids in the magazine, and C.C.E. magazine, the next one's coming out in a week.
Okay.
It'll be out 2017 edition with 700 kids across the states. But I rank kids. If you're number 3, you're saying, Courtney, you're crazy. No way my kid wasn't number 2 or number 1.
Really?
If you were not in the top 25, I had a parent tell me I was crazy because his kid wasn't in the top 25. His kid was number 27.
Yeah.
But if you're 27th in the draft, you're a millionaire. But if you're 27th in a ranking, somehow, some kind of way, I'm crazy. So you're going to hear that. It's not going to always be what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
Take constructive criticism. To me, put it on the wall. Use it as motivation to better your son, to strengthen your son, because he's going to hear things if he plays. He's going to read things if he plays that are not always going to be pleasing to him.
Right. Wow.
So tell us some of the repercussions of getting the incentives.
Well, I have one really good story. I sat down with a local university when I was first starting out with C.C.E. They're local, they're in the North Texas area, and he was telling me about a recruiting story of a kid who was pretty much, colleges do their own homework. So, like Oregon, they won't recruit you if you like fights on Twitter. So
Really?
they like fights on Twitter.
So they do follow your social media
Oh,
even
no
in
doubt.
sports.
If you
No
like
doubt.
street fights, so the
It's telling about your
ignorance.
character.
Yeah,
That's what
because
I
it's like
say.
you're getting
And
involved
so
in it.
we've had situations where a kid had a 9mm gun and he took a picture with it. Well, not only did that university say, no, we're not going to recruit you, they called the rest of the Big 12 and said, I wouldn't recruit him. Because nobody needs that negativity
bad
or something like that going in there to
Absolutely.
it. But this particular story was a single mother, and they've already had you vetted. They already know if you're living at home with mom. They've talked to you several times. And all of a sudden she has another young man, well, not young man, another man that's in the household now on a recruiting trip when he comes into the house. And so they're talking to the kid and talking to the mother, but now they have a spokesman who's talking.
Wow.
And he's the guy who's asking the questions, and he wants to know, well, what are you going to do for our son? What are you going to do for him? Well, this particular university has said they're going to do this. What are you going to do?
right.
You're in the age now where women screenshot like never before. Everything can be recorded.
Yes.
People love sensationalizing stuff. Twitter runs rampant. Everything can be that way. You will lose your job by even indulging in that conversation. So those two
absolutely.
coaches got up and left, and they stopped recruiting that kid because they felt like that the person who was here, who they never had a relationship with, they were only talking to mom and the son for those last 3.5 months. This person was insinuating, what all are you going to give me or give him or give this family in order to get his signature on February 1st.
Okay.
And those situations happen all the time. I mean, you've seen situations where the mother and the son have actually got into an argument on signing day. She thought he was going to sign with Florida. He signed with Arkansas.
Wow.
They're on national TV. She walks out.
Well, Arkansas is good because I'm from Arkansas, so shout out to Arkansas.
Well, they haven't won a while.
But it's okay because we're still good. Continue on, carry on.
But those stories happen, and so you often wonder who's going to be in class every day? Who's going to be the one out there in the weight room? Who's going to be the one in that particular culture? Is it going to be the mother or is it going to be the son?
Yeah.
And if he's going to be the one there, shouldn't it be his choice?
Wow.
But then you also have a mother who might be thinking that maybe he's making a choice for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Or it could be an underlying fact.
Something we don't know about.
There you go.
Let me ask you, have you had any notable talent that comes from your program?
Yeah, we've had several kids. I like to speak more in numbers than more of names. Last year, in our first ever magazine, we ranked 50 kids. And so last year, it was 40 of those kids that were eligible to receive scholarships in the 2017 school year.
Okay.
And we had 28 of those kids receive scholarships.
Wow. That's a good
17 of
number.
them went Division I. So we did a real good job of finding talent and doing a real good job of being prognosticators. Because we did this when they were in 8th grade.
Okay.
And so to see a kid mature and make it to a point to where you're saying he would be 4 years ahead of time, 17 of them going Division I, 28 of them out of 40 going to college free. What we're doing is we're nurturing our next group of kids. We're keeping them off the streets. We're keeping them in the
Absolutely.
classroom. We're keeping them on the field, and we're
That's
keeping
good.
them aligned with their dream. That's what it is. It's just trying to tunnel them towards their dreams.
Okay.
So how can we follow you? Turn to the audience
Yeah.
because we want them to follow you. So tell them how can they keep up with you.
You can follow me on Catch Cover Elite. My website is catchcoverelite.com. I'm on Twitter as Catch Cover Elite. That is CATCHCOVERELITE. And you can also see me on Facebook as C.C.E. Texas, Courtney Jackson. All those different sites. We'll be around in 9 different cities throughout the summer, and we'll be at 2 different college camps working with our top 7th and 8th graders on them getting scholarships before they get in high school.
All right, Courtney, we appreciate you coming on set with us today and just joining and just telling our viewers so much.
Yes.
You gave
Thank
us
you
a
guys.
lot of literature.
Enjoyed it.
Got to be back again sometime.
Yes,
We
we'll
will be back,
definitely
yes.
have you back. And guess what? Let's talk at AN.com. You can find us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Let's Talk AN. Thanks for watching.
Open floor plan, beautiful, great location. This is just what you wanted, girl.
Isn't that what you want too?
Yeah, but I don't have the best credit score.
Well, honey, neither did I.
True.
But I was still able to buy the house of my dreams.
Thank
Knowing
you.
how picky you are, you need to feel like I did.
I got just the person you need to talk
No,
to.
call my realtor. She gives referrals. So does mine.
Really?
Yes, really.
Tired of renting? Wanting to build? Looking for the right location? Credit problems? Call Angelia Dunbar Realty.